charge to make the 2024 Broker Carrier Summit possible, and we are so excited to have their support. In case you haven't heard, TAFS offers much more than freight factoring. It provides a comprehensive support system for trucking companies of all sizes, specializing in fast and efficient invoice factoring with the ability to pay carriers in as little as 1 hour. And TAFS services go well beyond factoring, offering a fuel card that unlocks major fuel discounts, flexible business loans that are designed to cater to the distinct needs of a carrier's operations, a dedicated, responsive client experience team, and much more. Blackbox Logistics is a 3PL freight brokerage based out of Birmingham, Alabama. Blackbox Logistics was formed in 2020 by 3 friends, Logan Dyer, William Graves, and Will Hopkins, in a basement office with the goal of bringing transparency around the clock communication and hassle-free customer experience to the table. WireB is an AI-powered call automation platform built for freight brokers, designed to screen every inbound call in real time, block spoofing, phishing, and double brokering scams, verify compliance through integrations with FMCSA, Highway, and My Carrier Portal, and automatically connect brokers with qualified, vetted carriers, all before a human ever picks up the phone. Sales-CRM is built for freight broker and agent sales teams. Manage your shipper prospecting and follow-ups. Organize your carriers in the lanes they run. HD Ships is a leading logistics provider specializing in sustainable and tech-driven freight solutions. With hubs in Reno, Phoenix, and London, we deliver comprehensive services, including full truckload, expedited cross-border, and intermodal freight. Leveraging proprietary technology, we offer 24/7 tracking, real-time visibility, and advanced automation to ensure safe, compliant, and efficient transportation. Our commitment to sustainability enables clients to offset emissions through carbon credits, aligning logistics with environmental goals. At HD Ships, we prioritize transparency, reliability, and exceptional customer service, empowering clients to achieve seamless, sustainable logistics solutions worldwide.
What's happening? Happy Thursday.
Yeah, not too much. Just another day. Where are you joining us from? Indiana, Minnesota, Tennessee?
Indiana. I've been in Minnesota since my sister's wedding. It's been a while. But no, next episode should be for me in Chattanooga. So,
was it this Friday or next Friday?
I'm planning on flying there this weekend, actually. Now, whether I'll move into an apartment, probably will be like later next week. But I'm planning on flying there this weekend.
Very exciting. Whole Matt Dog to the freight alley.
I'm surprised you're wearing a sweatshirt and all those layers of clothing in Birmingham in August.
Yeah, man. Well, my office is cold. I mean, outside, so I just leave one in here, but I don't wear it outside. But it hasn't been too bad. It's pretty cloudy today, so yeah, no complaints down here in the Magic City.
Magic City. Well, shout out to our sponsors, Wirebee Carrier Vetting AI, great product. I just saw a post from Freight Caviar, I think, about them earlier today. But yeah, great company. Definitely reach out to them. I mean, fraud is big in this industry, unfortunately. We have Black Box. Will likes to say the People's Brokerage or something like that.
I say what it is. Black Box was voted the People's Choice Brokerage for 2024, and they're a strong favorite for 2025. KCH has made a push, but they're still in second place. So yeah, the People's Choice 3PL down in Birmingham, Alabama, aka the Magic City.
And shout out to HD Ships. If you're looking to be an agent, I'd love to chat with you. Sales Dash CRM, the OG sponsor. They've been a sponsor since before the show even officially went live. I know Josh was just in the Magic City. Freight specific CRM for freight brokers. And then our banner sponsor, TAF's Top 10 Factoring Company. I mean, we're going to talk today about, some tech with owner operators, and obviously it's a tough market for trucking companies right now. So factoring is a great way for truckers to get paid, and TAF's is a top 10 factoring company, Kansas City based. Rob and Ryan are fantastic. Reach out to them if you're looking for factoring.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, I'm pumped about the episode this week, but he looks like he might be having some connection issues. I don't see him backstage anymore, so I'm sure that he'll be joining us momentarily. But today we're having on the CEO and founder of Hey Bubba, Tapan. So what Hey Bubba is basically a virtual AI dispatcher, and their ICP is small fleets and owner ops. So if you're anything like me, I've seen a lot of offerings in the AI space, but they seem to all be geared towards brokerages. And this is the first one that I've seen that's for owner operators of small fleets. So I'm excited to dig in and learn more about it.
Yeah, we should have sent this episode to Jamie Anderson. He would be there. He'd be their ICP.
Yeah, I'm sure we can have Jamie on to talk about it at some point, and we'll be posting some clips post show. So hopefully Jamie sees one of them. Well, Tapan's back with us, so we'll go ahead and bring him on stage. Tapan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'll tell you what, before we get into Hey Bubba and what you're doing, run us through your experience, your background, everything leading up to Hey Bubba, and then we'll dive into that.
Of course, yeah. So I have been working in trucking. I'm a tech guy, mostly worked in tech for a long time. I started my tech career in trucking, so to call it, for my previous company, TruckX. We do telematics, electronic logs, cameras, and stuff. So I've been running that company for 10 years. That's how I got my experience into trucking. And before that, I worked into cloud software in the Bay Area mostly.
Very
cool. Kind of compelled you to, not jumping too far ahead, I guess, but kind of compelled you to come up with this idea for, like Will was talking about, pre-show, there's a lot of AI out there for brokerages right now. There's not a whole lot of AI out there for owner operators. How do you come up with this idea?
Yeah, so while doing TruckX as the company, right, I've been working with owner operator. We have like more than 10,000 customers there, companies working with us. And I came to know about this dispatch problem and the back office operations that was being a big issue for small trucking companies. And there are not many good solutions. So I've been dabbling on this idea of using AI for the back office operations back in 2019. But then the generative AI was not there. It was purely machine learning based, and the tech did not work. And in 2024, things were getting much clearer. With generative AI, you can do so many things like a conversation. So yeah, that's how the idea for Bubba was born. And I was like, hey, I mean, there's no one solving it for truckers. There are so many companies out there for brokers, but there's absolutely no one for trucking side.
Yeah, I want to dive into so what you're talking about with the owner operators and small fleet. So when I left my previous brokerage to start Black Box, I had some contracts. Didn't know what I was going to do for a year, and ended up starting a dispatching company. And that's the problem that we identified, right? Is these owner operators on small fleets, maybe not to the stage where they can, or it doesn't really make sense to employ a full-time in-house dispatcher. So we essentially operate as a shell dispatching company. And there's a lot of schools of thought about this out there, with somebody dispatching for multiple companies, right? And sometimes it gets a bad rap, especially with some of the that maybe aren't doing the best job and undertrained. But we really provided a lot of value at a cost-effective price, right? Because they don't want to employ somebody full-time, and it's kind of it's like, it's similar to if somebody needs a shell CFO or any of these shell positions part-time. It's a great fit, and we found a lot of customers, these owner operators, small fleets that need our services. So it's cool to hear you talk about that, identify that problem, and then hear about this solution, this futuristic solution. Before we dive in too far, I have to ask, where did you get the logo Bubba? So why is he named Bubba? And how did you get the design? Because it's throwing me off. I'm looking at it. I just got to ask. I'm going to be thinking about it the whole podcast.
Yeah, no, I mean, we wanted to put a face and put a name behind AI. AI is something people get afraid of, and they don't know what it is. So it's more psychological for us as well to find a good name. So name Baba is it's more, I think, used in southern part of the country, wherein Baba is like, hey, you see someone saying, hey, Baba, how are you doing? It's kind of more respectful, more playful. So we wanted that trustworthy name. So that's how the name came from.
Yeah, that's so that's my neck of the woods. So I'm in Birmingham, Alabama, southeast U.S. So Matt, I don't know how it is in Minnesota. It might be strange if you heard somebody say, "Hey, Bubba," and their name's not Bubba, but down here, yes, we hear that often.
Yeah, Minnesota, you don't hear it too much. Might be more of a southern thing.
And then we wanted a character, right? So we ended up okay, we are an AI company, so we actually used AI to create this character. We spent almost like a week to figure out the look of it, the feel of it. When someone sees it, we wanted something which is more trustworthy, something which is still friendly at the same time. So that's how kind of this character came about.
Yeah, and I think which I'm not in your space, right? But I would imagine that maybe some of the owner operators in smaller fleets are harder to talk about this AI with. Maybe they have this preconceived notion of what it is, or it seems like there's a lot of people who are against it, and maybe their stance on it is simply ignorance because they don't understand it or see the use, and maybe they haven't heard anybody out. At least with my feeder or what I've seen, it seems like I don't know. A lot of people are just against it, but don't know about it. So I think creating this character and personalize it helps, I would imagine.
It is so far, yeah. So I had a talk in Mid-American Trucking Show at Louisville, where we launched the product. So a lot of owner operators were there in the presentation, and it was well received. I mean, of course, people had questions, but I think the way where we are going with this new generation wave of AI, especially Chat GPT, Gemini, people are curious. I mean, even someone who is 70 years old, 60 years old, I mean, I know my parents, my grandfathers, they know about it, right? I mean, they know about this is happening. So people are curious for sure.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. That it's just widespread at this point. What my partner was talking about, his father actually, he's an older gentleman, and he talked about walking into his living room. He was just sitting there talking to Chat GPT, like having an actual conversation with it. It's just funny. No,
Absolutely.
So where are you guys with building Hey Bubba? Is it out? Do you have people using the service? Are you running pilots? Just tell us a little bit about what's going on day to day right now.
Yeah. So as we talked about, right, the idea came from how can we solve this operations challenge. And as you rightly pointed out, there are a lot of companies who are doing this dispatch, right? So our goal was there's a little bad rep around it, right? Saying some are not doing the and let's say if you're dispatching for different owner operators, how do you make sure if you get a freight and both of them are, let's say, in the same lane, who do you give this to, right? I mean, it's like when you have kids, right? Who's your favorite one, right? When you get a pastry, right? Who do you give it to? So it's it's like that, right? And there is no right or wrong answer, right? I mean, you can say, oh, and that's where all the trust and other issues come in. And then of course there is a step further wherein this dispatch has gone like overseas, and we have there are some of maybe of course good companies, but there are so many of them who has spoiled the repo. And that's where Bubba came in, wherein it's your own software. So our focus as we are building it is it's purely designed for you. From day one, our focus is there will be zero human being behind it. So let's say our team will be there for like customer support task, like if you face issues using the product and stuff, but we are not going to step in and have a human kind of do dispatch for you. And that's our thesis while building the product. So where we are is we launched a soft launch in Mid-American Trucking Show, wherein it was a web product wherein you go to bubba.ai and then get started. You could sign up. So we since then we got what around 1,000 signups, 1,000 companies who are interested and who is kind of playing around with it. Fortunately, since then we have made a significant progress. So we launched like several partnerships. So as of today, we are experimenting with DAT, Truck Stop both. So if you have account with DAT or Truck Stop, you can integrate those with Bubba, and Bubba will use those to find loads for you. And as of this weekend, we also launched our mobile apps, both on Android and iOS. So now people can actually download it, and now it's a true experience wherein it's a voice first experience, by the way. There is no keyboard. So the only thing is you just talk to Baba, say, hey, I want to find loads, I want to book loads. It will search loads for you on load board. We have trip planner we are introducing wherein you plan your own trip. So the routes are preset and Baba will keep searching in the background. And then post search, Baba can actually make a call. So if you see some loads which you like, you say, hey, Baba, make a call to this broker, and you set your floor amount saying, hey, I don't want to go absolutely below $2 a mile. Doesn't matter whatever the market is. Baba will honor that during the conversation, negotiate on your behalf, and book the freight. So this entire flow is live as of today. Um, and we are constantly improving on how the AI behaves. We integrate with several partners, pull in a lot of data to make sure the experience is great for the users.
How is because I know sometimes with AI in the brokerage space, they can tell right away, if it's a there's a lot of I don't know what the right word is. There's a lot of bots out there right now, AI bots for brokerages on that thing, and I know there's a big difference in some of them. And like, can you tell this is AI or
Yeah.
not? I mean, how is kind of your bot, there? Are you having brokers being able to tell that it's an AI bot, or a lot of them, can't tell, or I guess kind of how, kind of, I don't know.
Sure. Yeah, no, so go
Does he
ahead,
say
sorry.
his name? Does he say like, "Hey, Bub"? Like, does he say he's Bubba when he's calling?
Yeah. If you ask who is this, so we don't hide the fact that it is an AI. Our goal is not purely on the voice side, saying, "Hey, we are pretending to be a human." In fact, maybe people can guess. I mean, these days you can guess pretty much any bot. It's very easy to guess. But I think that's not our goal. Our goal is to make sure the conversation and the transaction happens. So we want to make sure that we do carrier verification. So we do verify the USC, MC number, DOT number, right, before we make a call to the broker. And that is important, right? If a broker agent is picking up the call, they should know that there is a real carrier. It's not like a fraud carrier behind it. So that's one piece of it. But we don't hide the fact that it is not a bot. But the bot can actually have a conversation. You can broker can ask anything about the carrier, the load IDs. It will just tell you everything, and it will actually go and negotiate without any input from from the driver. But driver can set their criterias, and Baba negotiates on their behalf with the broker, and based on the constraints the driver has given.
Very cool. And are brokers you're seeing pretty open to working with Bubba? When like they call in, or is that that hasn't been a hurdle in terms of like, I think AI is getting more common, but there's no
Of
like
course.
brokers like, hey, this is AI. I'm going to hang up, and then the carrier is upset because they couldn't negotiate the load. Or has that been a challenge, or are brokers pretty receptive?
They are receptive, I would say. In fact, more so is like broker will say they will call their other agents saying, hey, see, there's a bot who is calling, right? And then they are kind of having a little fun as well, but at the same time then they realize, okay, it's a real thing, right? So they will go ahead and for the negotiations as well. So there is some trust. Of course there are some who will outright not want to talk to it. I think that's part of it. But the advantage of Bubba, at least for owner operators small fleet, is Bubba can actually go and call a lot of brokers and kind of make sure that they get the right freight while they are driving, right? Today they cannot do anything while they are driving.
Yeah. I think I'm glad you brought that up. As I mean, the speed too. I mean, I know some drivers are sitting in truck stops for 2 hours negotiating rates and scrolling through their phone trying to find the best rates, and then there's not a lot of time with all ELDs and the amount of time they can be to drive. A lot of their rest time is spent trying to find loads. There's some that truck drivers actually post about that on LinkedIn, or I don't
And
know
the
if you're
good
on.
loads are gone while
Yeah.
they are sleeping or while they are driving, right? So
Yeah, that
So
was
it's going to
always
be that benefit.
one of our big selling points when trying to sign on these owner operator small fleets is that you can't be looking for loads or even the paperwork and all that stuff like while you're driving. So, hey, Bubba, does it speak multiple languages or is it English only? What does that look like?
so on the driver side, it can understand multiple languages, but on the broker side, it's pure English.
Okay. Well, that makes sense though, because most of the calls, if you call into a broker load on a board or whatnot, they're most likely speaking English. So it's cool that you can
Yes.
adapt to the driver's side.
Yeah, and then more and more regulations as coming in, right, where English becomes like more of a regulatory requirement as such. We want to make sure that kind of it's not like where when we talk to the so there are so many drivers, as you know, right, owner operators, they speak decent English, but we like to call it as conversion of blue collar English to white collar English. So even though you're a native speaker, there is a difference when you negotiate with a broker, right? How you talk to them, right? You cannot just use an F word or something like that if the offer is too low, right? So Baba doesn't do that, and that's what the advantage of it is, kind of really making sure that we represent the carrier as a professional uh, human. I mean, they are professional in delivering the loads, but now also in how they speak.
Yeah.
I gotta
I mean,
ask with because we had Cargado on the show a couple months ago, and there's a lot of cross border
Cross
freight
border.
going into Mexico now. Is it a plan in the future to
Hmm.
add Spanish for if there are carriers that I guess that's actually probably a dumb question. I'm just thinking of as of now because the carriers that are signing up for your apps aren't going to be running cross border freight themselves probably. So I scratched that
No, yeah,
question.
no. I mean, I think in some sense it is valid, right? As of today, it is only purely for U.S. carriers, but then down the line, right, we might expand into Canada and Mexico, which is our neighbors, and then there will be some use cases which is purely in that neighboring country, and then some will be cross-border. So yeah, I mean, we will support language, but more so, it's more about the product side as well, right? How we integrate with different like load boards over there in Mexico, Canada, or like how the way we can verify their identity is different over there versus here in the US. So I think there are so many other things around it, but definitely yes, language we can support easily.
yeah. So what about just vetting the brokers, right? If it's a new broker, like there's a lot of again, we're talking about the sponsors. There's a lot of fraud out there,
Yeah.
right? So is Bubba able to vet the brokered loads at all from the board? Can they check credit? They're like, hey, is this a reasonable company to call for a load, or does it just call everything?
I mean, as of today, we just call anything that is listed on a load board. So we kind of rely on that in some sense. But we are partnering with different companies wherein we can kind of pull the credit check on a broker and kind of go from there. So like we're talking to factoring companies, right? So if you're factoring with, I think one of the sponsors is TAPS or Apex or anyone, right? So we can kind of partner with them and say, okay, this load is pre-factorable based on whatever algorithms these guys use, right, for the factoring. So I think those partnerships will also help us down the line.
Is that a possibility too? I was just thinking because there's a lot of talk about fraud on load boards. There's a lot of news, obviously, in the load board markets
Mhm.
this week. Everyone's
Yeah, I
you know
know.
doing a lot of
Unfortunately.
stuff there. But is that a concern too? That if like, because some of these carriers, I know they're posting on X that they like this load's a scam load or something. There's no way that the bot could somehow book a load. Would the driver have to approve before they like get sent to RateCon or anything like that? Or how does that process go? Like say they
Yeah.
called a load and it was a scam broker, someone stealing their identity, and they want to send, a rate con. Would the driver have to sign off, or he just have the rate con on his inbox and not know to check, or how would that work, I guess?
So as of today, when Bubba negotiates with the broker, driver gets a notification on their phone to accept a freight, and Bubba won't accept the freight till driver acknowledges. So there's like a slide to accept for the driver. But we're going to also launch like an autopilot mode where Bubba can actually book the freight if it falls within the criteria for the driver. But then Bubba will ask broker to send a rate confirmation over an email. And then we have a verification flow over there as well. So once we receive an email, we verify the domains, we verify things, whether it's coming from a correct broker or was it just like a pretending to be CH Robinson, for example, and trying to book something for you. And so we do some verifications over there. And of course, right, fraud gets better and better, and companies need to evolve and kind of, and there are various types of frauds, right? So one type of fraud is, you can say, double brokerage kind of a fraud, wherein you may consider it as a fraud, but it's technically kind of someone trying to make more money in the middle. But the actual service, there is no issues. So which is kind of a different problem. Second, which is a bigger, where someone kind of takes away with your load, right, on the carrier side fraud. And some that happens on the broker side, as you said, it's a fake broker. So yeah, I think there are different ways to kind of go about, and there are some with sophisticated ones, right, that happened where someone took away the Apple products, wherein the carrier was acting as a legitimate carrier for a while, delivering the roads. They actually bought an MC number from someone else. They paid cash, and these guys gave them everything. Oh, I got money. Here's my email address. Here's my carrier certifications and stuff. There's absolutely nothing no one can do about it, right? I mean, I don't think so any technology can solve that problem.
Yeah,
I don't know. Would love to know your thoughts, on this.
Yeah, no, it's very true. I think that is cool. You guys do verify the domain, though, because that was one of the things I was thinking of. I was like, well, if someone pretends to be CH Robinson, where a carrier could see that themselves, but then they're using Bubba, and then they all of a sudden have a load for what they think is CH Robinson, but then they're finding out later. But that's great that you guys verify. I think that would put a lot of owner operators at peace. You guys are verifying the domain. So, yeah. But I agree. There's not a way to stop all fraud for sure.
Yeah, there are some sophisticated ones, right, where you're actually pretending to be a carrier, right? I mean, not pretending. You actually bought a carrier MC from someone, and you're legitimately delivering, and then you're paying insurance, everything, and then suddenly, if you run away with it, there's nothing you can do about it.
Right? Yeah, I mean, I think that as fraud prevention companies evolve, so does the fraud itself, right? So yes. I think inevitably fraud's always, unfortunately, going to be around to some extent. And yeah, like as a new vetting product comes out, that the fraudsters, a lot of them are very sophisticated and smart, right? Like I would even say a lot of the fraud goes undetected. And yeah, again, unfortunately, there's a lot of money in it, and there's not a lot of recourse for the most part. So it's just one of those things that as an industry we can all be on the lookout for, and there's always good companies coming about trying to fight it, but they'll probably always be around. They're like cockroaches,
Yeah.
They'll be in
and one thing is, now if Bubba is negotiating on behalf of a carrier, right, this rate confirmation is not being shared by, like if you're using a third-party dispatcher service, to your point, right? I mean, like if it's overseas or something, right, you never know where this rate confirmation goes, right? Like so many people sees it and they use it and slap a sticker of another carrier, right, and just go and pick it up like an hour before the carrier is supposed to show up there. So I think those kind of frauds we can definitely avoid, because there is no one else who knows about this. It's purely the system who knows, and the system is for you.
Yeah. So as far as Hey Bubba's negotiating techniques, how did you guys train Bubba? Did you maybe upload a bunch of dispatch calls, or how did you build it out? The brain behind Bubba that it operates on, the LLM or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, so of course, some things which we want to keep it under the wraps for the best interest for the carriers. But what we do is we study a lot of these negotiation tactics, and it doesn't have to be specifically related to dispatch, right? It's a pure salesmanship kind of tricks. And at the same time, as I said, right, there is some floor amount and stuff, right? There are some settings we get from driver. We also look into the historicals, right? So if you booked a particular load from CH Robinson, if you have some data insight to it, we use that data as well for that carrier. We also use things like if the broker is like really low balling, right? Baba stays at high. It doesn't even try to drop itself, saying, even though I know, let's say the floor was $1,000 and broker says, oh, this load is for 500, right? And you know the market is around 1,500 or somewhere, right? So Baba will start at 15, but if the other side says 500, Baba doesn't move down. Baba like, okay, maybe we cannot make a deal, and it just drops the call. So we try to kind of make sure that it's not like it's not like pure math where it always hits the floor. So yeah, we have to be careful on those angles. But we study a lot of historical data and then market data to kind of achieve this negotiation.
Very cool.
And it's a constantly evolving thing as well. I mean, as and when we learn more and as the product evolves, the negotiation hopefully will get better and better. It's not like, see, negotiation always works when both side thinks that they gain something out of it. You cannot have one-sided winner, right? I mean, winner should be both, right? Both should feel like, okay, I made a good deal in this.
Yeah. Either both feel like they got a good deal, or both feel like they got a bad deal. It's just one or the other. Matt, I want to ask a question, but it looked like you're unmuting, like you're getting ready to have something there.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask because it's interesting. We were talking at the beginning of the show, how there's not a lot of AI for owner operators, and obviously you've been working with owner operators in your other business. How is the sales process to owner operators? Because obviously, like when these AI companies that are all over LinkedIn are selling to brokerages, they're selling to chief technology officers, having like these high level AI. But I mean, I would think selling this product to owner operators, I mean, a lot of it, would have to be, you'd want to simplify this. I mean, is it a different, process selling, or there's some things you've learned, selling to owner operators? It's a very unique space selling AI. I feel like a lot of even taking away, other industries, AI, you're selling a lot to like people who are kind of in the weeds on technology, where I would think a lot of these owner operators are not asking these high level questions. They just want to know, can it do this? Can it work?
Can it do this? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the way I have learned so far is owner operators, I mean, they are very simple people. I mean, they will just want to make some living for their own family, right? They're not trying to create like a big business or anything, right? And the best that has worked so far is pure referrals and word of mouth. I mean, Hopkins will know this probably, is like if one owner operator thinks this is a good product, they just talk to their other friend, their nephew, niece, everyone, the entire families are in trucking. And the other person doesn't think much. I was like, they just go to Bubba.ai. They don't know what it is. Just because Hopkins told use it, they will say, oh, let me go and let's just use it, right? I mean, and that has been the case with TruckX as well. That has been the case with Bubba as well so far. And the way to get in front of them is purely like these podcasts, or like they have these small influencers and things which kind of really helps, the trade shows, wherein you just have to get the word out there. And then the only way it works is the product should speak for itself. I mean, the product should work, whatever the product is, right? In our case, it's AI. So if the AI works, people will use it. If it doesn't, people will not use it. I think it's very simple. Unlike going with trying to sell to enterprise account or a big brokerage, wherein you talk to, as you said, right, talk to a CIO, CTO, or someone, or director of IT, wherein it's more relationship driven. You can actually have an opportunity to train their team, saying, hey, this is how the product works. Over here, there is nothing like that. You download it. We have to make sure the product is designed step by step, wherein they can self-learn it.
Yeah, so when you're speaking about those referrals, when we did the dispatching company, Compass Dispatching Services, that's how we got all of our drivers. We actually didn't do any outbound direct to carriers. We went to factoring companies, and we sold them on referring us to their new authority drivers. So another thing to consider with hey, Bubba, or any of these guys, maybe they're new going out on their own authority. Maybe they've been a company driver for 20 years, so they don't have the they might be great at driving the truck and the job itself, but the back office stuff, so booking these loads, doing the paperwork and all that, they have no experience. So we would tell the factory, hey, get us in front of these people. We can cross sell, right? Like push us, we'll push you. We'll help them drive revenue. We'll tell them that, but that's how we got all of our drivers. It was, so we had a pipeline from the factoring companies. And again, to your point, when somebody's referring you, introducing you, and you have a body of work where, you've done a good job before, it's so much easier than, if we were to cold call the drivers, it's, I'd imagine a lot of them would just hang up on us. But when somebody else is making an intro, that would hear us out, and we had a high percentage of closing them.
And one other point to mention here is, the way I look at it is less of a, for of course, right, we are running a business, but at the same time, we don't look at it as making money through a few accounts or a few owner operators. I see Bubba successful if we have tens of thousands of owner operators, wherein we make small piece of money from everyone, wherein it's easier for them as well, right? Because if they want to spend a huge amount of money, right, with one owner operator, if they have to spend a huge money on us, they won't use the product. So we will be successful as long as tens of thousands of people use it, and our goal is we make very small money wherein it's great value for them, rather than going to another dispatcher who charges them, I don't know, 6, 10, 20% versus us, which will be very minimal as using a credit card. So for now, it's completely free. People can sign up anytime and use it till almost till end of the year. Entire product is free, and even after that, we'll be charging based on only booking, so success fee. All other things wherein you can still search the load board through voice and everything is still free.
Okay, so well, that's fantastic.
Free. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Will.
Oh, I was just going to say for anybody listening, and I'll click this. So, Hey Bubba is free through the end of the year. And then correct me if I'm wrong, it sounded like at the end of the year, once you move into charging, it's going to be success-based. So if and when Hey Bubba books a load, driver accepts it, it's going to be a percentage of that load, or what does that look like?
Yeah, it would be some percentage of the load. We have some tiers as well. We will be, let's say, the first $20,000, $30,000 worth of bookings will be free for the first year, and then after that you kind of keep them. But our goal is, right, it's at the end of the day, right, as I said, if the product is not useful enough, it won't be a success for either ways. And if the product really works, giving a small fee will kind of help us kind of get a lot of these owner operators. And the goal is the more we get, and I think Bubba and a product like Bubba will really help small companies run their operations through AI, which was traditionally not possible. So Hopkins, to your point, right, if a driver has been driving for 20 years, but he or she just cannot go independent because of they don't know how to manage the back office, they don't know how to specifically find loads and book. So this will enable more and more smaller fleets to be more successful.
I know you're targeting smaller fleets too, but I was just thinking, throughout this show, I was like, some mid-sized fleets that maybe have their dispatchers in Serbia, which is quite common in the trucking space, or other countries. They may want to still keep some dispatchers, but they may want to use this to go along with some of their other dispatchers as well. Are you seeing some interest from? I know it's not the target market, but are you seeing some interest maybe from like some mid-size or bigger fleets as well?
No, absolutely. We're talking to some with like 100 to 500 trucks right now, and then there are some with like 1,000+ trucks. But for them, the use cases are slightly different. For them, the use case for Bubba is, of course, they have to fill some backhauls, but they have their existing relationships. So booking those backhauls is one, but how can we manage their internal operations? So in that case, there is a Bubba version for the driver, wherein the Bubba won't be able to book the freight directly for them, but it will act as their internal dispatchers, right? Wherein they can look into the TMS system and like help guide the driver for whatever they need, saying, as I said, right, where's my trailer? What's my next trip? What should I do after this? I need a help with mechanic, or can you find me a parking? So we partnering with Truck Parking Club hopefully soon, wherein we can book parking for the drivers. We can book hotels for the drivers. So Bubba can do all of the things as a typical dispatcher can help. It's not just related to bookings and negotiations. So that's where we see more right now interest with larger companies is hey, how can you help us manage our inbound operations?
Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I would see, a big use case for that too. One other question too, I was
Yeah.
thinking, because this kind of goes back a little bit, but a lot of brokerages we were talking about have carrier AI as well. Has there been any, I'm sorry, I'm out in the background, so that's
It's all good.
my buddy had played something, but
Someone is having good time.
yeah. But like brokers, they have carrier AI. So how does AI negotiate with AI? Does that happen at all? Like, since some of these carriers are using like Happy Robot, Vroom, some of that, and then obviously your service too. I was just kind of picturing, like, does that ever happen where there's like an AI bot negotiating against an AI bot?
Yeah, I think we'll have to check, but they're definitely, I don't know if brokers are putting bots for negotiation. They're definitely putting the bots for like asking the basic questions, right? And then transferring it to an agent. So that we have seen for sure. But we are heavily focused on carriers, right? One of our moat is one of our values is we're never going to make a dime from a broker. And that comes from the fact that since we are in the negotiation, we don't want to represent both parties ever. So we don't want to be in a situation where we cannot guarantee your best interest. So that's kind of we truly hold. I know there are a lot of other AI companies who serve brokers. They are trying to serve carriers as well, but it's a hard sell for the same reasons. Is representing both sides is very very tough. And as a company, and
I
I
think
don't
from a competition
like.
standpoint too, I'd rather be on your side, because there's a lot of competition selling to the brokerage side. There's not much competition, at least right now, that I know of, selling to the owner operator side.
Yeah. I mean, owner operators is a tough on a business wise, right? I mean, most of these companies are venture funded, and for venture funding, it's very hard to see a business around owner operators because you need a longer term, sustainable kind of a way of approaching it, and you don't see an obvious problem, right? You cannot just say, "Hey, I'm going to go sell it to this one owner operator." And I'll have 10 customers by the end of the year and I'll be profitable, right? It doesn't work that way. You need to have like tens of thousands of this to be a profitable company. And we are bootstrapped. We are funding it ourselves. I mean, our goal is to kind of serve the purpose and hopefully solve a value of having this back office operations. And if we solve that, I mean, we'll see that in a year. If we do solve it, we have tens of thousands of people using it, and everyone contributing on the owner operator side like a little bit to our business will help business sustain as well, and that's the goal.
Yeah, I like the point about helping the businesses sustain. So yeah, I mean it's been tough for any asset trucking companies. I mean brokerages too, but especially the trucking companies. A lot of the guys that are reliant on spot boards, and those costs add up. I mean when we were doing the dispatching company, we were charging 8%, and it became feasible, which we shut it down. We don't run it anymore. But towards the end of it, I mean that 8% was kind of like make or break, and ended up kind of like showing them what I was doing. It's like, you just need to do it this yourself. It's not,
Yeah.
it wasn't sustainable for them with the market conditions. So we took a step back and kind of, we didn't just cut them off. We taught them what we were doing so they could do it themselves, and
Yeah.
hopefully that helped them stay afloat.
And it's not sustainable on both end, right? You running as a dispatching business wherein you have humans doing this, right? So you can only manage probably 10 trucks if you're really good, 15. But
Yeah.
then on the owner operator side, they also feel like, oh, I'm going to give you 8%, which is kind of seems like a big amount. Plus, of course, the brokers, if you get shippers, it's different. But then, so there's a lot of fees. And that's where I think tech can solve this problem, wherein we say, hey, we just charge like 2-3%, right? 3%, which is cheaper, and then this Bubba can kind of help run for like several of these owner operators, right, where it makes financial sense for business as well as for the customers.
Yeah. And so Bubba is, if I was signed on with Hey Bubba and I have it set to search for this lane, I mean, it's searching the lane 24/7.
Yes, we do search the lanes on the background for you once you set your trips, and then over time we'll also do you send like trip recommendations for you. So even if you say, hey, I always want to go from Dallas to Chicago, we'll say, hey, maybe rather than just coming back from Chicago to Dallas, this time of the year is better to go to somewhere, I don't know, maybe go to New York, New Jersey, and then you can find a better load from there and back to Dallas. So there are various ways to run a particular lane, but so yeah, we will do those recommendations as well going forward. It's not there right now, but if you set a trip, we will definitely search in the background 24/7.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite frames to look at either automation or AI in. At least for us at Black Box in house, we use some automation, no AI yet. But we've done some discovery, but I like to think about it comparing it to a human, right? So like the AI, the automation, it doesn't take lunch breaks or go to sleep or have a bad day. It's not just it's humans in nature. Just they're gonna have good days and bad days, and even the
Yeah.
best steady is not near as consistent as a service like this. So yeah, no, I think that's fascinating, and I just like to think about that when I'm considering one of these products, comparing it to a human, and that's always something that comes to mind is that hey, Bubba's not going to call out sick on me last minute.
No, definitely. And I think AI will get better and better, right? As you see, right? If you guys following on the tech side, right? OpenAI, Google, um, Facebook, right? They're investing heavily on the way the Gen AI is developing. And yeah, we partner with all of them to use the latest and greatest of what is available and build on top of uh, build like trucking logic, so to call it, around it, to kind of make it usable for the customers. And yeah, I mean, this whole wave of like how AI will respond is so fascinating to see. Like even last year compared to this year, like it has progressed so much better. Right now, today, right, the AI does not hallucinate as much, almost next to nothing. And hallucination is a word where AI will think you're talking about something and just kind of say something totally random and different. So those things don't happen today.
Yeah, I mean that's fascinating too. It's just going to get better and better the more hours, minutes, and time that it spends. Also, from the broker perspective, which is different because it seems like you have a very long term vision, and you talk about making a little bit off of a lot of people. But the brokerage space, I really think if you give it about 6 months, all the pricey AI stuff is going to. I don't want to say it's a race to a bottom, but the prices are going to stop dropping because it's kind of getting flooded, and it's almost like an arms race, and so many people are trying to accomplish the same use case. But it seems like you have a sustainable pricing model, whereas in my opinion, some of the companies targeting the brokers are not going to be as successful long term.
I think there's a good problem to solve for the brokers as well. I think it depends, and since there are more players, of course, there is a bigger competition. But at least they see real dollars, right? I mean, we don't see any dollars coming in today, right? And we don't see it coming in till end of the year. Even if we don't offer it for free, I mean, we don't see it, right? Because we need time to kind of grow it to like a wider audience, right? To make some meaningful operation. So yeah, it's a different way of kind of going about the problem, I guess. But yeah, I mean, there's the real problems on the broker side as well that AI can solve, and hope these companies do well in their own regards.
Well, it'll be exciting and interesting to see what it looks like in the years to come with all the AI in the space. And we're rooting for Hey Bubba. It's been a great conversation. I think that you're solving an important problem for these owner operators and small fleets. I personally see the use and value in the product, and you have the dog support moving forward, and we'll be tuned in to watch you progress and wish you nothing but the best.
Thanks a lot, guys. It was amazing to
Yeah.
have you
One thing
guys.
I might post about your product maybe on Twitter, but one thing I
Yeah,
would say, there's so many truck drivers on X, I guess it's called X now, that I
yeah, yeah.
always go on LinkedIn. There's some more getting to be more drivers, but it's like if you guys aren't on X, you guys should look into X, because there's owner operators there all the time arguing about different things and posting from their truck, and I would say it's probably might be the
Biggest.
biggest, one of the biggest spaces out there for owner
Yeah,
operators.
yeah. We have looked into X, I think, for my other company, X, and I think Instagram and TikTok is also very popular with these owner operators, because at the end of the day, right, they are the ones who are owning the business, but they are the individuals as well, right? So they're not like sitting behind the desk. So anything accessible better on mobile is what they want.
Yeah.
They are on. Yeah, we are not spending time and effort right now, like kind of social media or trying to market ourselves. Our goal is to find those early adopters who kind of find out about us from here and there somewhere, and who comes to us, use the product, and like they know, okay, this is awesome, and then they can they give suggestions to us, feedbacks to us, and things like that. So that really helps. And but yeah, I would really appreciate it for the shout out. So it's just Bubba.ai. If you go to our website, we have some videos, we have some ways how we can use the product. As I said, it's a self usable product to a lot extent.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'll definitely clip something and get it out there. And I'm sure that the podcast page will have some clips. They'll tag you guys and show the people where to find your website and all that good stuff. So yeah, thanks again for joining us. It's been a great conversation, and we wish you guys nothing but the best at Hey Bubba. I feel like I should say goodbye to Bubba itself, just sitting there.
Hey, Bubba.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks again.
All right.
That was cool. I learned a lot. Interesting product. I personally see the use for it, just like you. Kind of curious to see, some owner operators and kind of their feedback on it, but I think it's a great product. Shout out to YRB, Carrier AI, vetting. That could be a good use case. Use Bubba and YRB, in that regard. Black Box Logistics, the people's company or the people's brokerage.
Matt, we've been over this so many times. It's the Black Box Logistics is the People's Choice 3PL.
Yeah, the People's Choice 3PL. Okay.
Oh, thank you, sir. We got HD. Yeah, you take HD.
HD Ships, recruit agents. You can do Sales Dash. You just saw John's person.
Yeah. Sales Dash CRM, the OG sponsor, our first sponsor before we even did our first episode. It is a freight-centric CRM. Black Box uses it. We love it. Josh is a great guy. They're building an awesome product. And I don't know of any other CRMs that come pre-built out for you that are freight specific. You get a Salesforce or something, you spend $1 million, then you got to build it out yourself. I would highly encourage you guys to check out Sales Dash CRM. And then we've got our banner sponsor, TAFS, Top 10 Factoring Company. Great group over there out of Missouri. If anybody is interested in a factoring company, go to their website. A lot of good educational content. If you get in touch, tell them that the dog sent you.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be back next week.
All right. Well, I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon, Matt.
Sounds good.
All right. See you.